Good day to you all. I'm finally getting myself together and doing a video for an inkle loom. This is, we're just going to warp up. I've drawn out a fairly simple pattern which is here, and I will make this available if you go down to the notes section and you click on show more if you can't see it, and then you can download the file and it's got that information there for you if you need that along with the video. So that is my dog, that noise. He insists on being in every video, so he's not all that quiet. You gotta be quiet, okay? Gotta be quiet. Alright, now ideally you would have your inkle loom, and I would have my inkle loom clamped to a table or something like that, but I don't have a clamp, and how I normally do it is just have it on my lap. But I tried to get some camera angles of doing this on my lap and it just didn't work, so I've got it sitting up here, and I hope that that looks okay to you guys. And I'm really sorry if sometimes my hands get in front of the camera or something like that. I hope nobody gets cranky at me for that, but this is the best setup that I can manage at the moment. So looking over the inkle loom, it's pretty simple sort of a loom. Good, nice hobby for someone who wants to sort of dip their toes in. It's very affordable. This one costs about, I think, $120 Australian, and a lot of people make their own as well, just out of you know, dowel and stuff that you can get from the hardware shop. So you could consider that as well. There's lots of plans online. Just Google make your own inkle loom, see what you come up with. Okay, so to start with, if you look on the pattern draft that I've drawn up, and by the way, I haven't woven this pattern draft before, so I'm not exactly sure how it will turn out. I've done the groundwork and it looks fine, but in the actual weaving it could be different, but we'll go on this adventure together. So at one end I have a little screw. Can you see that? I'll turn it right around. Okay. Here is the screw on that end, and I'm going to start just by winding my starter thread around that. You can actually knot it around there to save any hassle. Your loom may look slightly different to this one, but the principles are really the same. So I'm knotting that around the end. I'm using 8-2 mercerized cotton. I have used 8-2 unmercerized cotton as well. Both work fine. It's just the mercerized cotton has a nice sheen to it and a little bit of silkiness that the other one doesn't have so much. Okay, so we've knotted that on there. And our first job is to go up to the top peg. Up here. Now I'm going to have to go around the other side. This is the tricky part about the camera. Okay, so I've got that up there. I'm going to take that over the top, over this peg. I'm going to go down underneath that one. And at this point I'm going to go over the tensioning peg, which is this one. And I've got the tensioning peg moved mostly towards the left with a small gap. Now if your inkle loom is a little bit older, it may have like a tensioning block or something up here. But once again, it's the same principle. So once it's gone around the tensioning peg, bring it back around the end peg here. And then I have to go back around the other side again. Back to here. So this really here is the starting peg. We've got it tied onto here so it's not going anywhere. But this is the starting peg that we're going to come back to each time now. Now on the second round, sometimes you'll be changing colour, but for this particular one we're not. You have a look on your chart we've got blue for the first one, we've got blue for the second one. Now have a look at the first row. I've got an H there. That stands for heddled, and the U stands for unheddled, because with this loom you are going to heddle the whole top row. They're all going to have heddles that you're going to make, and the whole bottom row are going without heddles. So now that we've done the first round, let's pause and I'll show you how to make that heddle. Okay, so most of my heddles I have already got made up from my last project, and this was a string that came with my loom. It's a good strong cotton, but just for demonstration purposes I'm going to use this red cotton. It's a red thick one so that you can see very clearly what I'm doing. Now using these 2 pegs here, I'm going to hold that there and start winding around those pegs for however many heddles I want. So say I want that many. I then take the scissors and cut that one as well. Okay, so you end up with these lengths. Take one of your lengths and fold it in half, so the 2 cut ends are up the top, and then at the cut ends take them together and do a very small knot right near the ends. Alright, and if you need to do another knot to make sure that's secure, okay, and that is one heddle. So you remember that our first thread, because we've only done 1 round so far, is on the heddled row, which means we need to apply a heddle to it. Now you can also do the heddles right at the end. You can, wind your warp fully, then do the heddles, but I think this way is a bit quicker and easier, especially if you've got all your heddles made. So I'm going to be using one of my white string heddles, and I'm going to put it on this peg. Then I'm going to take that over the thread that is sitting there, and I'm going to loop that back over that peg, and that can be tightened up, and that's our first heddled row. Okay, so our next row is also this dark blue, but because it's on a different row, this is row 2, we are going to take it a different way. So we've gone around our warping peg here, and this time instead of coming up and over this one, we're going to skip that one and just go straight over the top one at the back. And then from then on it's going to follow the same path that the other one did. Underneath that peg, around the tensioning peg, around this back peg here, and back to the start here again. You can just push them all to the back of the pegs. So our row 3 is going to be another heddled one. So let's put that one on first, and we can apply our second heddle. Okay, so over this peg here, over the back one, over the tensioning peg, around the back peg there, back underneath the lot, and that brings us back to the starting peg. Now the next, oh yes, we've got to apply our heddle to that. So our second heddle goes on. Here's our thread waiting for us to heddle. Put the heddle on. Loop that over, push it to the back. Yes, it goes a bit loose, but you can easily just tighten that up. Alright, so now we want to change colours, because you'll notice that the fourth thread, which is an unheddled one, is a green colour. So let's figure out how to do that.